I think it was 1989 or 1990. I was active with the National Republican Senatorial Committee, raising money for them, and was sort of a junior fundraiser in the scope of the amounts raised. And I was in Washington for a dinner. Senators were assigned to different tables. At that point, John McCain was a rather junior senator, and he was put at a table near the back of the room where I was. And I was introduced and then immediately liked him because during the rather long, drawn-out dinner, he kept a steady repartee of his jokes and quips, and he clearly did not take himself too seriously, and that immediately endeared him to me, and we struck up a conversation, and it went from there.
And ahead of the 2000 campaign, he was seen as not the chosen candidate, but he became almost a New Hampshire favorite son in New Hampshire. How did that happen?
Well, I think there are a lot of reasons. And in 2000, I was the party chairman, and so I was neutral because our job is to protect the primary. But I think neutral was such a great gift to John McCain because in most of the country, most of the state chair people had signed up or were on board either openly or quietly for Governor Bush. And in New Hampshire, I said, we'll give you a fair shot. And I also used to spend time campaigning with each candidate, whether it was Gary Bauer or Steve Forbes or you name it. And I told each campaign I'd go out with them and spend a day with them whenever they wanted. And the McCain campaign said, why don't you just come with us virtually every day, which the Bush people, of course, thought was terrible, but I gave them the same opportunity. I think people in New Hampshire, like folks who'll answer hard questions, will admit when they've made a mistake, will admit when they don't have all the answers, and when they engage with people on a one-to-one basis. And John McCain just did that better than any candidate in modern history, and people liked it. It's funny, they talk, if you read some of the histories and talk with Mark Salter, he had been John had been a big advocate of campaign finance reform, which was not what the mainstream of the Republican Party would have embraced. So they came up with the idea of straight talk. I'm going to give you some straight talk, which is code for you absolutely disagree with me 100% on this position, but let me convince you should support me for other reasons. So that's how straight talk sort of developed. It was, I'm going to give you an answer I know you hate, but please don't write me off.
Right. And the Straight Talk Express became something of a roller coaster, right?
It sure did. I mean, it was fun to watch the difference, although a bit sad to watch the difference between 2000 and 2008. In 2000, there really wasn't any social media, so John would do these running interviews with the press on the bus with him, almost like a rock tour bus, and he'd say something and you'd go, oh, that didn't sound just right. You'd get to a stop, you'd go to a town hall meeting, and I remember John Weaver a couple different times, or Rick Davis or Mark Salter saying to a member of the press, hey, before you go with that, let John clarify what he said after he gets out of this town meeting. Then they'd say to John, that really wasn't the right way to say what you just did. And John would come back and walk it back. And back then reporters would go, okay, that's cool. I'll let you revise what you're saying. I get it.